Welcome, everyone. My name is Rich Schefren. I had it muted by accident, and I guess that's what happens when I don't play an intro. So, today we're talking about offers, and it should be incredibly uh, useful to each and every one of you because really, your whole business is based on offers. And I was reminded of this just recently when I read a great book by Alex Hormozy, $100 Million Offers. I didn't really learn anything from the book that I didn't already know or experience. However, what I would say is that there was a lot of stuff in the book that I've experienced that I've never really come across and read before. And so it confirmed a lot of what I've thought myself about offers. And so along those lines, it was a very good distillation. And so if you haven't picked up that book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy, I strongly recommend it, especially since it is only 99 cents. And I also got to say that I really like his overall model. To me, it seems like a much more updated and cool version of what I did with the manifesto, really. I wrote the manifesto. I didn't really have any front end products. The manifesto was absolutely free. And then if you wanted to work with me personally, you could join my coaching program. And what Alex has done is he's creating these books. They're 99 cents, so they're as close to free as possible. And his coaching program is that your business has to be doing between 3 and 10 million. And I think you have to give up a piece of equity for it. And so he's writing these books as a way of providing value and recognizing that there will be some people who get exposed to him in that value who have a business that meets his criteria, who want to do business with him. So I think it's a really bright move on his part. And actually, I'm talking to him this week. I've never spoken to him before, and I'm looking forward to that. So I feel a little like strange just because I didn't use a intro today. So if you're watching me, if you're seeing this, please make sure to say hi and where you're watching from. This way I can know who to say hi to. And also, I really want to make this as much of a dialogue and as little of a monologue as possible. And the reason why is that I really want to understand where you're coming from as it relates to creating offers and really understanding the value of and importance of really refining your message, right? And therefore your offer. And I'm waiting for more people to join. We've got about 30 people on right now, and I see more and more people joining. So I want to wait a minute or two or three because what I want to do is I want to set the tone. I have this 4-minute video that is from a course that I delivered a while back where I talk about offers. Now, I'm picking something right in the middle. So, I might have to provide you more context for it. But my thought is that would really at least set up what we could talk about. But I'm curious what you guys think about offers and whether or not you feel like you've really given it enough of your time and your thinking, right? Because at the end of the day, your offer is the most critical piece of the equation as far as really getting your business to grow, to scale, and to ultimately make it what it is that you probably want it to be. And so, along those lines, recognizing one, the importance of the offer, recognizing everything that you can uh, manipulate to make an offer better is very useful, very important, and might be the key to building the business of your dreams. So, with that, what I want to do is say the housekeeping stuff. We'll get that out of the way. I'll say hello to everyone, and then we'll cut to that video. And then, based on what that video covers, based on what questions you have, we'll then kind of dive into the meat of talking about offers. And what I want to avoid, if possible, is just talking about the same generic stuff that everyone talks about, because my goal here is to really make a difference for you, to help you craft an offer that is better than any offer you've ever created before. And by better, I mean that when prospects and the desired customers or clients that you put this offer in front of, they are much more compelled to say yes, that that you have a much shorter distance to travel to make the sale. And at the end of the day, that's why offers are so critically important, that everything is easier as it relates to selling and marketing when you have a great offer. Everything is more difficult when you have a weak offer. And for those that don't remember, I will kind of refresh your memory as far as a story that really impacted me, my experience, as far as a story that exposed to me how little I knew about offers. And so, with that said, if you're watching this, no matter if you're watching it on YouTube or you're watching it on Facebook or you're watching it on LinkedIn, please comment, emote, and most importantly, share. And if you share, put the hashtag share in the chat so that this way I can personally thank you and sing your praises from the mountaintop of how wonderful you are for sharing this with others. And it's important for us that you share it, because ultimately I do this so that I can impact you, and that I can also make sure that there's less and less people who don't know who I am, because anyone that really got online after 2012 to 2018 or 19 probably doesn't know who I am. And so this is a way of me helping you and you helping me by passing along the live stream. And obviously I'm not pitching here, so you're just passing along value. So really appreciate it if you share. And if you share, or when you share, please put shared in the chat so that I can personally thank you. And let's kind of go to the chat now. Say hello to everyone. So there's still time to say hello to me and let me know where you're watching from. And then we'll dive in. All right. So, hey, Renan, always good to see you. And thanks for being here from Brazil. And Kayvon in Vancouver. Good to see you, Kayvon. Alex Hormozy. And it's $100 Million Offers is the name of the book. Hello again, Rich. Greetings from Texas. Hello, Dave. Good to see you, my friend. And Robert is in Ashland, Oregon. Cool. And hi, Debbie Brickley Campbell in Chicago. Nice to see you. And thank you, Renan, for sharing. You rock. You're my hero. And I truly, truly do appreciate it. Jim Brown in San Diego. Good to see you, Jim. And my digital product is in Spanish, but I feel like my Hispanic community is still behind the curve with buying online courses. They probably are a little bit, but that doesn't mean that if you put the right offer together, David, that it will transcend that. Certainly might not. The fact that it's a online course might not help you right now, but a offer that is really compelling and strong will kind of make that irrelevant. Hello, Rich from Highland Beach, Florida. Hello, Glenn. Good to see you. Hello from France. Hello, Mina. Long time no speak. And Cornell from Houston, Texas. Good to see you, Cornell. And Emil. Is it Emil? Is that how you pronounce it, Emil? Regards from Indonesia. Very cool. Indonesia's in the house. And Mina from France. And Kayvon shared. You rock, Kayvon. And Glenn shared. And you rock, Glenn. I appreciate you. Duran from Lucerne. Good to see you, Duran. And Mina shared. You rock, Mina. And hey, Pete. Oh, I do owe you that call. You know what? I'll call you tonight, Pete. All right. Like probably late. I got some calls after this live stream, but I will make sure to call you and we'll make some plans. Adam in New York. Good to see you, Adam. And Evie from the Client Attraction Challenge in Aventura, Florida. Good to see you, Evie. And Rob Reese sharing. Nice pick, Rob. Dig it. Like this, like the overcoat with the tie. I think it's an overcoat, or is it a sport coat? Robert. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Robert. Hey, Rich. Love talking offers from Colorado. Cool, Justina. What do you do? What do you sell, Justina? And Abul sharing. You rock, Abul. And Regina watching from Kenya. Nice to have you, Regina. And Al shared. You rock, Al. And hello from St. Paul, Brazil. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sorry. Augusta. Well, hello to you, Augusta. And hello from San Francisco. Hello back to you, Oscar. And hello, Pat from Montreal, and Luke from Scotland, and Nir from Israel. Shalom, Nir. And Emil, yes, cool. And do you think that the Agora strategy, sell the bonus, can also work for selling a video course? Example, I give the bonus for free about an explosive stock, for example, to sell a video course. We'll talk about that, Julia. And if you don't feel like I answered that question, then by all means, ask it again. But the bonus strategy, using a premium, can be used in a lot of different places. It's the default strategy for any kind of membership, any kind of subscription to a newsletter, anything that is future based. Generally, you'll use a premium primarily because you don't know what's coming next month and the following month and the following month. And so because of that, we focus on the premium. However, we get a lot of benefits from doing that. And you certainly could, make another element, the core offer, and use the video course as kind of a bonus. And I've done that myself, where actually the core, I could have just sold the bonuses, but I created another program, and that can be very powerful. But before we dive into all of that, let's see, did I say hello to Priya in Israel? Shalom, Priya. And let's see, I sell a 3-month subscription sales transformation program to help online coaches craft irresistible offers that sell itself so they can scale. Very cool. Subconscious sales transformation program to help online craft. Cool. I like that. Nir, you shared, you rock. And Amit shared, you rock. Very cool. So, all right. I just want to make this a little bit smaller so I can, there we go. Cool. All right. So I think what we should do first is play that video. And so this way, we'll all be on the same page. And that will kind of stir up what I'd like to talk to you guys about. And well, you know what? Before I go into that, before I show the video, one thing. So there's two times where I have been exposed to how powerful an offer can be. And one time was sort of by accident, you could say. And the other was kind of haphazard. So let me tell you about the accident first. And I've shared both of these stories with you, but I now want to put them in the context of an offer, right? So when I first launched my coaching program, I was speaking from stage. I was scared in my ability to pitch well because I had never pitched before. And it's not really my style anyway. So I decided that I wouldn't do a hard pitch. Instead, I would do I would make the order form an application, and I would make it so that people would apply, and then I would pick the people that I wanted to work with, because I didn't want to coach anyone that I didn't enjoy spending time with on the phone to help. And so recognizing that I needed something stronger, like some kind of guarantee or something that would make my offer stronger and get people to apply, I came up with a guarantee that you would double the amount of money that you make, and you would be working half as much. So you'd 4x like what you made per hour invested in your business, or I'd give you all your money back. And so that guarantee was strong enough to make the entire offer really powerful. And because of that, I had like 40 some odd apply. I picked 25, and then those 25 got great success. And that was kind of documented in the manifesto, et cetera. But I should have probably recognized right there and then the power of that guarantee, which really was just a way of making the offer itself stronger. And I think I've told you this story numerous times, but just for those who haven't heard it. So when I invented the automated webinar back in 2008, I taught it immediately to Russell Brunson. I taught it to Mike Filsaime. I taught it to a few others, but I taught it to them specifically because at that time, there was a lot of disruption in the internet marketing space. This is 2008. And because of the financial crisis, lots of people lost their merchant accounts. Mike Filsaime and Russell were two of the people that did. And so they were struggling. So I wanted to give them what we had figured out to help us, that had helped us so much. And and so Russell sent me a webinar that was crushing it for him several months later. He was really proud of it. And it was high ticket selling secrets. And he wanted me to watch it. And so I watched it. And I thought it was the worst webinar that I'd ever seen. Like, I couldn't understand why it was converting so well until he went to the offer. And what I realized when he went to the offer was that the webinar, when you have such a strong offer, the webinar is just an excuse to get to the offer. Like, you really couldn't invite people to get on to a, Zoom call to just hear about an offer, but that's kind of what it was, except there was like this beginning part that you could call a webinar, although it didn't really line up necessarily to make the offer better, you could say, because it didn't need to be. And what I mean by that is that, when I did webinars, when I created marketing, I did not have good offers. And so because I didn't have good offers, I had to become a much better marketer just to be able to move people to a less than sexy offer and have that offer be effective. What I wish I would have realized back then is that combined great marketing with a better offer would have been even better. So why do I say that Russell had this fantastic offer at the end? Well, because he had created this offer in a way that made you feel like if you bought this product from him today, you could be selling high ticket tomorrow with very little work. And as I really kind of studied that, as I kind of looked at it and recognized how superior Russell's offer was to any offer that I'd ever created, except maybe that first one that was just luck. I realized that I was kind of thinking of an offer like, you pay me this and you get that. And I wasn't really considering what has to be done with what my customer gets to actually get the outcome that they want. So from that day forward, what I recognized was that the offer is not just, all the elements that we're aware of, but it's also everything that the prospect or customer believes that they need to do to get that outcome. And so I would say that my thinking about it has evolved even since then, but that smacked me in the face and made me realize how much I had focused on marketing skill because my offer skills were so weak. And I might have mentioned that in this video. Let's kind of see what you guys have to say, and then we'll cut it to that video. All right, I showed that. Thank you, Nir. You're my hero. Amit shared. You're my hero too, Amit. And it's not too late for anyone else to share. The more shares, why don't we try and break a record today with the most amount of shares? Hello, Emmy. Good to see you. If you could share it, that'd be great. And hey, Ron, I still have to go through that stuff that you sent. But thank you for sending me that stuff. Champaign, Illinois. Yeah, some of the offers are really powerful. In the past, I jumped into some of them without even understanding what I was getting or what I'm getting myself into. It's very common. Ozma, hello, Ozma from Egypt. And hello, Samuel. Live. Very cool, Samuel. And Priya shared. Always. Thank you. Priya, it says NC. Does that mean you're in North Carolina right now? And let's play this video. I'll mute myself for a second. I'm going to grab my coffee and this is a 3-minute video. So we'll watch it real quick and then we'll discuss it and then we'll see where. And now we're ready to talk about your offer. Now, the offer is the most critical piece of direct response success. Most direct response experts will tell you that the offer trumps everything else, that a good offer will transcend bad copy. A bad offer can never transcend by having great copy. So it's the deal that you're offering your prospects at the end of the day, and it encompasses everything that we've covered plus a bunch more. So let me tell you what the offer ultimately is, okay? So as you can see, it's the product or services or group of products that you're offering, right? It's the premium and the bonuses that are included. It's the payment terms, right? It's the guarantee. It's the USP and the value proposition. That's why we went over both. And it's who is it for? Who are you? The rationale as to why you're actually offering that, and the discount, like establishing the regular price value and showing that it is in fact worth that original amount, and yet you're offering it for less, and why you're offering it for less. Urgency, some reason that gets people to actually take you up on the offer sooner rather than later, and payment options. All right, so that's quite a bit. So payment terms is different than payment options, right? Like you can pay by credit card, you can pay by check, you can pay by PayPal, whatever, okay? So I wanted to kind of end this little section here with the offer. I tell you that as I was saying in the value proposition video, that I have some growth myself to do in that. I would say with the offer as well. Like I've always relied more on marketing, more on persuasion, more on influence, more on the tactics that I'm teaching you than actually just having a better offer. And quite frankly, I think that my results, as great as they've been, would have been many times bigger had I put more focus on the offer. So nowadays, this has become a primary focus for me, and I hope it is for you. And so now it's time to actually write out all the answers to these points. What are they for you? And think about it like you would if you were in a pitch on a webinar, or if you were on a order page on your site. How would you describe all this? And describe it in the best possible way that you can. You want it to seem as desirable as possible. And remember that the goal of marketing is to make that offer superfluous. So when we have our offer in place, we finally have the first critical piece to start thinking about our marketing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that offer and then think about, what does the prospect need to believe? What do they need to feel? What do they need to think? How do they need to see the world, themselves, you, in order to make that offer a no-brainer? So go ahead, take the USP, take the value proposition, take everything that we've gone over so far and address it and sexify it and put it in your offer. And when you have that offer, I suggest you go to the Facebook page, you put it down, and get some feedback. The better you can make the offer, the easier the job is of marketing. So remember that. The more work you do here, the easier the rest of the work is. So spend some time, create your offer, put it up on Facebook, get some feedback, and then we will take it even further and take a look at, now that we know what the offer is, how do we get prospects? What do they need to think, feel, and believe in order to make that irresistible? So I will see you in the next video. Yeah, so that is just a quick intro into an offer, right? And it involves all those things. So I'm curious, like, where do you guys kind of start with an offer? And while I am waiting for you to give me some answers there, what I thought I would do is also kind of start to go through certain different points. And then, but I really want, feel free to comment as much as possible today. I really would like your guidance as to where you are with offers, and what are the sticking points for you? What do you struggle with? And why do you think that your offers are not doing as wonderful as possible, right? Because at the end of the day, you got a great offer, people are beating down their door to do business with you. So if you're not experiencing that, odds are, right, that that there's an element that's off. Okay, so I am, let's see here. I want to show you what we will eventually get to. I think we'll do this on Thursday's live stream, but I did want to show you what is currently, I want to show you my notes here. So hold on a second. and what I plan on sharing with you on Thursday. And then that'll also open up other stuff I probably would like to share. So let's see here. Share screen. Cool. Can we share a window? I think we can. I think we can share Evernote. All right. Cool. All right. And I should be able to do this. Let's see. And if I go like this, will it make it bigger? Yeah, cool. All right, so what you see here are my, let's see, can I even get rid of that? I don't need the side list right now. All right. So what you're seeing here, whoops, these are my notes from the book, $100 Million Offers, How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No, right? And right now, Brian is busy taking all of the things I highlighted and putting them in here, right? So to let you know the process, right, I read the book once. And as I read it, I decide whether I want to highlight it or not. Then I'll read it again and I highlight it. The highlights make its way into Evernote. So I over highlight, but it all goes into Evernote. And then in Evernote, I will go through progressive summarization. The first time I'll look at it, I will bold anything I feel is important. Then I will go back through the bold and now just highlight what I think is most important in the bold, right? And now we'll take everything that I highlighted and now put that towards the top. And then I will organize, highlight, bold that, and then I will write off of that. So it's as most condensed as possible. And so that's what my plan is for Thursday to share with you. But so these are my notes on the book. And you can see that I did lots of yellow, lots of highlights in here. And one of the things that, like I said, that there wasn't much that I didn't know, but stuff that I've never seen written. He also writes about this formula, and I think it's a really good formula, where he calls it the value equation. And if we look at let's see, can I make it bigger here? No, you can't see that. All right, let's do this. There we go. So if you look at that, right, and this is from Alex Hormozy's book, right? This is not my diagram. This is his diagram. But I think it is relatively accurate. And so I really want to get your thoughts about this because I think this is really kind of what I think a lot of people miss, especially when creating offers. So it's their ability to see their dream outcome, right? And your ability to describe it as well as they can so that they know you understand them. And I would also say that in that, describing their problem too. Their perceived likelihood of achievement. Now, that is, if you've ever heard me talk about going from possible to probable, right? How much confidence do they have that this time it will be different? And a lot of times I've used my reports to kind of re-engineer people's beliefs so that they would feel that. They would say, this changes everything, right? Like the way I felt when I came across the ADD book that redefined all of my problems as symptoms of ADD and how I did that for my reports for marketers and a bunch of different stuff. So we have your ability to describe their dream outcome, their belief in the likelihood of them actually achieving that ideal outcome, buying your product or with your service. And then below, right, divided by the amount of time it will take to get that outcome and the amount of effort and sacrifice that they will have to make. Now, if you remember what I said when I said that I was explaining Russell's webinar, I said that, for high ticket selling secrets, I said that I felt like if I bought this today, I could be selling high ticket tomorrow. So what's the time delay? Close to nothing. What's the effort and sacrifice? Close to nothing. Right? So Russell really nailed that bottom part of the equation. And it stuck with me, and it stuck with me all these years later because I had not done that in any offer. And so that is critical. And I wanted to make sure that I showed that to you guys. So let's go back to me for a second, and I can always go back to the book and the notes. Well, actually, let me close this first. And yeah, so there's a lot here, and I look forward to sharing it all with you and kind of packing in what some of the biggest lessons were. Definitely worth the read, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, and better than kind of anything I've come across as it relates to a full explanation just on offers. So with that, let's go back to me now. Let's go back to you, and let's see where we're at. Because like I said, I really do want to make this as much of a dialogue. So, all right. NC is Nirit Chen. Oh, okay. So it's a part of Israel. Max from Florida. Good to see you, Max. We're in Florida. And where's that video from? From a course that I did called D3. So much willingness to help others grow. Thanks for contributing with this. My pleasure, Alexandra. And if you don't mind, just share it with others. That's all I ask. Who's it for and the promise? So, Justina, is that the challenge that you have? Because like the more that you recognize the more you recognize the power of an offer, right? That it really can explode your business. The more you recognize how important it is to know who you're making the offer to, because it is so much easier to make a compelling offer when you're clear on who the target is, and versus when you're not clear who the target is. The best you can be is kind of make generic promises, which is a lot less than ideal. So I totally get it. And there are some really interesting things that I've just been looking at recently that relates to potentially getting a better head around your prospects and who they really are. And in fact, I've talked to two gentlemen. Their names escape me, but trust me, we will be telling you about them. And I'm sure probably some of you already know who these people are. But I spoke to two gentlemen who have that Reed Florin had introduced me to. These are the two gentlemen that have probably done the most, I think, with teaching people how to write books with Jarvis AI or Conversion AI. And so we had a conversation, I believe last week, and yeah, it was last week. And they're going to come on this live stream at some point soon, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And we're going to do a live stream where they're going to show you how to use Conversion AI Jarvis to write out full personas, to use Jarvis's help to basically create your avatars. Because understanding who you're marketing to, right, and who you're ultimately selling is critical if you're going to create a compelling offer, because you want to solve the problems that they're struggling with, and you want to paint a picture of their ideal outcome, which you can only know if you know who you're talking to, right? So that hopefully should make some sense. And so, Justina, just let me know if that's what you're talking about. And if you are, like, who's it for in the promise, then who do you think you're talking to, and what are you currently promising them? Because that's a starting point, at least. I struggle with getting quality leads. Regina, that's the result, right? That's like, what are you doing ineffectively to struggle with getting quality leads? Right? That's the outcome. What are you doing? A short video series with questions on how to identify the passion hobby, then niche ideal client, then ideal offer would help tremendously. I don't understand, Alexandru, what you mean by how to identify the passion hobby. I understand niche and ideal client, but what is passion hobby? I immediately think of Todd Brown's Sin Offer, which actually looks like it was inspired by the video you just showed. Haha. Oh, I don't know. I made that a long time ago, so it's possible. That chart was really good. Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I put it in my notes. Props to Alex. That's what I start with for an irresistible offer. Oh, perfect. Well, that's who you should, right? And it's really like, what is it that they most want? What's their dream outcome, right? And what are their biggest challenges in getting it? Alessio, what do you think about overdoing great promises but not being able to keep them? Um, well, I don't think that's good at all. And I think that, you can also promise too much and then it becomes unbelievable too, right? Like the promise has to be believable. And sometimes the promise could be true, but it's too good and it can seem unbelievable. Thanks for everything you do. Shared. Thank you. So I think we've got lots of shares today, which is really awesome. Hey, Jason. All right. So let me show you something else. And let's kind of, I don't even know where to start with this. I was, these are my notes, and I want to, let's see. All right, let's share this. Hold on. And then we can, let's see, we want to share, boom, share screen. Oops, share screen. And all right, I guess you can only share one screen at a time. I guess so. All right. Now, this is probably just going to be a mess, but this is an old mind map. Hey, Jason, good to see you. I don't know if I said that already. I probably did, but good to see you in Tampa. So this is this was for that video, that whole module. And so I have a lot of stuff in. Okay. All right. So let's talk about a couple of things, right? So one thing that, as we talk about the offer, right, we're talking about selling, obviously. And, the first thing I would say is that when we're talking about marketing and selling, is that most people who call themselves marketers or entrepreneurs, if you ask them, at what point does marketing hand over the job to sales, right? Like, can you tell me when marketing ends and sales begins? And most people do not have a good answer for that. I think they are in focus. It's just that they're far away. See? So let's go over here for a second and just remove this for a minute so we can talk about this. So what do you think, right? When is the job of marketing finished and the job of selling begin? Not when selling ends, obviously when someone buys, but when does marketing end and selling begin? And if you're not clear on that, right, then I suggest that you've probably not ever really thought about the journey of a prospect as it relates to your business and what objectives you need to accomplish throughout the process, right? I think that it is much easier to change someone's mind, to engineer new beliefs, to get people to see things differently, all those things. It's easier to do that outside of the sales environment because people have their guard up in a sales environment. Like, the time to change someone's beliefs ideally is not on the sales page. It's actually before they ever see the sales page. So the ideal time, at least one of the reasons why I came up with the idea of the core concept, was that let me rephrase. The reason I came up with the core concept was to give marketing a single task to achieve. When marketing achieved that core concept, which is the single belief that makes buying your product the default decision, right? So that's the core concept, a single belief that makes buying your product or service the default decision, right? As soon as someone believes that, the job of marketing is over. And now it's time for selling to begin. So the way I have always thought about this was that and tell me if you agree with this or not, because this isn't something that, this is the way I've thought about it. I don't even think I've ever read about it this way. I don't think I've ever seen anyone describe it this way, but this is kind of the way I think about it. That we walk around in with a bunch of problems at all times, right? It's just a question of where you place your attention. If you wanted to place your attention on the things that weren't working in your life right now, you could, and there would be things to focus on. We all, like, no matter how wonderful life is, there are always challenges. And so we walk around in what's called status quo bias. Like, we're accepting the status quo, maybe not in all areas, but in many areas where potentially things could be better. Now, generally, like, and I've always kind of used my experience with my weight going up and down as a way of kind of thinking about it. When right now I weigh like 195, and at 195, I'm still 20 pounds heavier than where I'm at my ideal. That would be 175, but I'm not 250 either. And I've been 250. So at this weight, I don't feel as compelled, right, to watch every little thing I eat. However, when I get to like 210, I start to come out of status quo bias because I'm too scared that I'm going to be back at 250. So all of a sudden, I become much more militant about what I put in my mouth. And then I get below 200 and I start like falling back into status quo. That doesn't mean I don't get down to 170, but I'm not as militant, right? And so when I've thought about that, and like I said, I've never heard anyone really talk about selling as being the event that pushes someone out of status quo. And that's one of the reasons why that mind map has status quo on it. I think there are two primary ways that that push someone out of status quo, like just relating it back to my weight for a second. One would be that the implications or the consequences become more severe, right? Like I see my weight going up, and that has me freaking out or getting closer to that number that spooks me really out. So in some way, the consequences, the implications, or the problem become more pronounced, right? So that's one side of it. But the other side is a easier way to get the outcome, a way that is easier than what I expected, right? So when I was first exposed to the Atkins diet 30 years ago, I might not have even been trying to lose weight at that time. But when someone told me I could eat, an omelet with egg and cheese, with cheese and bacon and sausage, and I could have a steak for dinner, like all of a sudden I was interested in losing weight because that seemed like an easier way than what I had thought before, right? So by making the consequences more severe and showing people an easier way are two ways that we can get someone out of status quo. Does that make sense? You guys are being awfully quiet, and I don't know if you guys are resonating with what I'm saying or not. So marketing is about establishing the beliefs that are required so that when you push someone out of status quo and they're going to take action, they move in the direction of their beliefs, which is what you had already put in place in marketing. Does that make sense? I'm 5'9", Glenn. I don't know if yes, that's resonating. Cool. All right. So let's, there's also, I don't know how this relates to the offer, but let me just throw it out there anyway, since I have it on my mind map and I've not really ever thought that through, but it's interesting. There's also two different types of motivation strategies, right? The preferred motivation strategy is towards, right? You move towards the things that you want. My motivation strategy is more of an away from strategy. I try to be more towards, but I would be lying if I said that I am more towards than away. I'm much more away. I work out not to have a six pack, but I work out not to be fat. I work so that I'm not broke. It's much easier for me to move away from. The problem with away from motivation is that at some point you move far enough away, and then it doesn't work. Kind of like what we were just talking about with status quo bias. So, all right, cool. So you guys are totally getting it, it seems like. Okay. All right. So makes perfect sense. You activate a hidden desire. Totally Rich. Cool. Hey, good to see you, Don. Justina, 100%. Yes, we're here. We're just thinking. We're glad to hear that. And yes, it makes sense. Cool. And yes, it makes sense. It resonates. Cool. Hey, John. Cool. So that is part of why, at least for me, I always focused much more on the belief building and the core concept and all of that, so that I could take someone to a place where people weren't even that focused on the offer. A lot of people had told me, like, I'm not even sure what you're selling, but I know I need to buy it. So now that we've kind of talked about all these things, right? I want to kind of throw it back to you guys for a second, and now you tell me, right? Where do you feel like you would gain the most benefit as we talk about offers, right? There's a lot of elements to it. There's risk reversal, there's payment terms, there's pricing, there's all the things that you're going to provide, there's the bonuses and or premiums and how they best should be positioned, there's the problems that you're going to solve, and how much of the product has a done for you vibe versus you're going to have to do vibe. And so there are all these different elements, and they all come together to create your offer. And let's take a look back at the mind map as I wait for you guys to give me some info here. And let's see, can I make this like even? Yeah, we can do that for a second since I made this so big. All right, so we're going back to here. And now let's see. Okay, we talked about away from, okay. Beliefs, desires, feelings. What's a value proposition? Okay. So as I'm waiting for your answers, right, one thing that I've often said to people is that if your strategy is to find the stupid people in your market, then you will not have a very good, valuable, or growing business. And what I mean by that is that one of the ways that I've often thought about it is, who are you the absolute best choice for, and for what? That at the end of the day, if your prospects were really smart, why would they pick you? For what thing, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, when he was at my event back in 2008, he said, the internet's a huge place. And it doesn't matter if you live in your parents' basement, you hate people, you only wear green socks and something else. Because, like, if you get online, there are over 6 billion people on the planet. And there are other people who live in their parents' basement who hate people and only wear green socks. And you could be their leader, and you would be their best leader because you understand them. And so who is it in the world, 6 billion people, right? Or more. I think we're moving towards 7 billion. That you are actually the single best choice for. And you start with that. You start with understanding who you can make a case that you would be the best choice for, and for what, solving what, right? Now, as I've shared on numerous live streams prior to that, my preference is to always sell a service that turns into a product, right? That I would always deliver the coaching program live. Coaching is a service, but that would turn into a coaching program as soon as I was done with it. And that gave me greater flexibility, and also allowed me to make lots of promises without knowing, like, without having to figure everything out in advance, right? I could start to develop the offer through when I was marketing and figuring out from people like what they were struggling with, what they needed help on. So for example, like, let's say I was creating a product or even planning like a campaign or marketing about offers. Like right now, I would want to try and get a lot more information from you guys about that, right? Like, how is it that you currently don't have the best possible offer that you can, and why do you think that is the case, right? So let's see what you guys have to say. All right, got that. Painting the perfect offer that I'm comfortable with offering and totally capable of delivering is my laudable goal. So I'm curious, though, what it is. So I would assume that most of you have never seen a value proposition canvas, I would assume. So let's take a look. Let's take a look here, and let me throw up a value proposition canvas if I can find one in my, I know I have one, so shouldn't be that hard. There we go. See, is that the right one? Well, here is one, so I can just pull that up. All right, and pull this one up. There we go. All right. So let me close this for a second. Sorry, guys. Someday I am going to get super professional and have better ways of. Okay, I got to stop that screen share and then share a different one. Share screen, different window. Let's share this one. Share. And now we'll go to this. All right. So this is someone's version of a business model canvas. And I'll zoom in on the different parts so that you guys can see it. So let's see. Can I make this bigger? I should be able to. So hold on. Oops. View, zoom in. All right. That's not the best picture, but okay. Products and services. What are the products and services you can offer your customers so they get the job done, right? So that is where everything is going to end up, right? If you look at this, right, we have gain creators, pain relievers, and product and service, right? 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, and 4 are about your prospects themselves, right? So as we look at your prospects, right, jobs to be done. What is the job your customer wants to get done in their work or life? What are the functional, social, emotional jobs your customers want to get done, right? So these are all the things that they need to do, right? In whatever it is that you help them with. Gains. What would make your customer happy? What would make their life and job to be done easier? What do customers dream about? And pains. What is annoying or troubling about your customers? What is annoying or troubling your customers? What is preventing them from getting the job done? What is keeping your customers awake at night? Now, if you're a coach, once again, these should be easy to answer. When you have these answers, right, then you can create a killer product. Now, let me get rid of that, give you another way of looking at it. And hold on, do this. Maybe it might be a little bit easier for you guys to get your head around is this one, because this one has the images a little bit easier, right? So there's your customer profile and there's your value proposition. And obviously, since we're talking about the jobs that they need to get done and what gets in their way, what makes it easier, we're talking about a specific type of person, and that's why you generally create a value proposition canvas around a specific avatar or persona, right? And so it's one thing for you to be thinking about what is it that someone needs to know in order to get this outcome, right? What does someone need to be able to do in order to get this outcome? And then thinking about what's the absolute least that the prospect or customer would need to do and still get the outcome by engineering that, right? By engineering the simplest way to get the outcome that they're interested in. If you remember, as we were talking about, like, your overall business is just a system, right? Your system to get an outcome for your prospects. And we talked about, like, the academic, Blockbuster versus Netflix. They both are in the business, or were in the business, of delivering movies at home for you to enjoy, right? You could say. But Netflix had a superior model. It was easier to watch a movie at home that you wanted to using Netflix than Blockbuster, so Netflix won, right? So I'm asking you the same thing. I'm telling you that your product is just a system to get an outcome, and it's going to be evaluated on what the prospect customer has to do with that system in order to get the outcome, right? Are they going to have to, if it was a card, would they have to go outside and crank it in order for it to run? And then even then it would be reliable, or is it going to be a push button thing that starts, right? The whole, every element that is involved in getting the outcome that you help people with, solving the conflict that they have, right, is you want to get it as close to, you pay me and the conflict goes away. Now, obviously, we're not magicians, so that offer is probably not something that is very easy to live up to, but you want it as much of that as possible. There's a reason, right, that the supplement market is much, much bigger than the home fitness or gym market, because people want to buy something that is easy, that gets the outcome, not something that is difficult. All right. So to circle back to what we were talking about, who are you the best option for, right? If, just generically, like, who in the world could you actually offer the best solution to? And then from there, how can you make that solution easier and easier for your customers to get, right? But in a way that makes them feel this time it will be different. Now, one of the things that I thought that was really, really sharp in Alex's book, that actually never occurred to me before. So I guess I was lying when I said, I knew, well, I said I knew most of it, not all of it. So I wasn't lying. There you go. Was his idea of, like, making the offer in and of itself different, so that this way you don't have to explain how your business is different, right? And when, at the end of the day, the answer to the question, right, why should I buy this from you? Your value proposition should be the answer to that, right? It's a short statement. I'll just read you from my mind map here, and let's get rid of this one again. Yeah, it's so much easier, and should have used Ecamm for the different pictures, because then I could just switch from one to one to one. A value proposition is a short statement that clearly communicates the benefits that your potential client gets by using your product, service, or idea. It boils down all the complexity of your sales pitch into something that your client can easily grasp and remember, right? So, some questions to use, right, that might be helpful, and I can pull this up on screen because I think it will be helpful. So let's do that. All right. Yeah, keep giving me feedback, guys. Like, it's good to know that you hadn't seen the value canvas before. Let me remove that, and let me now add another stop, and then share this. Share screen. All right. Okay, yes, I certainly can. All right. Share. Okay. Now I can do it the other way, I think, because we can do it one question at a time. And then let's go like this. All right. And then let's get rid of that. All right. So, what we're looking at here are questions to brainstorm your value proposition. All right. So, here's just some questions to think about. What do you do that no one else does? Right? What do you do that no one else does? What makes you distinctive? What would someone want? Why would someone want to do business with your firm and you? Right? Like, what's the number one reason why people would want to do business with you? How do you do what you do better than others? How do you do what you do better than others? What expertise and certifications do you have? Is there anything that you do that's proprietary and named that way? And it should be, by the way. What do you offer clients that is considered above and beyond? What do your current clients say about you and your business and your products? How do you and your business make your customers feel? Ask yourself the question, can I be easily replaced by your prospects and customers, right? If you had to think about the answer, it's time for a new value proposition. Steps to formulating your value proposition. Let's see here. Okay. Define the problem set to help vet whether it's a problem worth solving, right? Now, that's something that comes from the lean canvas, right? You want a problem that is in search of a solution. So there are problems, and then there are problems that people are desperately searching to solve. You want a problem that people are willing to spend money to solve, have spent money to solve, and still haven't solved it. Would ideally be the kind of container, right? The As opposed to the other way, which is solution looking for a problem, right? You have the solution and you're trying to like find problems. It's problematic at best, and or just a problem that is not in search of a solution, and then no one really wants to buy it because it's not a problem that people are spending money to solve. So the process consists of 3 stages. I really don't remember this. This is a really old mind map. You identify the customer benefits. You link these benefits to mechanisms for delivering value, and you map the basis for differentiation or market play. Okay, this will make sense in a minute. Thinking from the perspective of your customer, ask the following. Who is she, and what does she do or he do and need? What problems do they need to solve? What improvements does he or she look for? What does he or she value? Okay, from your customer viewpoint, step 2, know your product or service, right? How does the product, service, or idea solve the problem or offer improvement? And what value and hard results does it offer the customer? You with me so far? And then step 3, I would assume, right? Step 3, know your competitors. Keeping on thinking from the perspective of your customer and ask, how does your product or idea create more value than competing ones? The final step is to pull all together in an answer in 2 or 3 sentences why I should buy this specific product or idea. Try writing from the customer viewpoint by completing the following, and don't forget to include the numbers and percentages that matter. I want to buy this product or idea because it will. The things I value most about the offer are, it is better than competing products or ideas because. Now, they should be able to answer those. And if you can't answer those, then the likelihood that they will be able to answer them, not high. I see some questions have come in, so let's take a look at that and see where we're at. All right. Just seeing where we're at. Cool. All right. Done. Build and keep the value without overdoing it, so the product does end up sucking all your time up doing it in the end. Oh, that's your challenge, I guess, right? Well, I always do, like, I know this might sound like an exaggeration. It doesn't feel like it. When I'm delivering a program, I will do anything and everything, knowing that as soon as I'm done, I have a product done. And so I will go to extremes during that time. I haven't seen this value proposition canvas before. Really interesting. Yeah, it's just a cool way. You put Post-its on it, like if you put it on a whiteboard, and over time you can build that out to get real clarity and start brainstorming really good offers for them. Can you give us more info on Alex's book that you mentioned? I missed knowing the title of the book. Can anyone please write it if you know it? Yeah, it's called 100M offers, I think is what it like if you go, but it's his name is Alex Hormozy. And the book is 99 cents on Amazon. And I think if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. And it's just the best book I've come across as it relates to a book about offers. And we'll go into more depth on it on Thursday. I do it Frank Kern style, highlight the big S problem, highlight more about the big S problem and the pain, provide the solution and the relief. The offer is the pressure, relief, and the treatment. Right. So, Emmy, that's good. You're spot on there. The issue is, right, is when you're providing the solution and the relief, what can you do to make it as less effort on the prospect, right? It's like with Frank's 4-day cash machine. Just take these emails, modify them, and in 4 days from now, you'll have a bunch of cash, right? Like that's the kind of solutions that at the end of the day, people want. Now, you might have to do something in order to get them to believe that they could do that, right? Like that it's possible. But we're talking about like, so everything that you've covered here, right? The big S problem, right? And the pain of that problem and the solution and paint a picture of the relief. All of these are necessary and good. And you certainly want to build pressure to get people to want to take action and solve this conflict, solve this problem, get this benefit, right? But now the question is, how do we make this offer sexier? And we make this offer sexier, right, by now figuring out what can we do that takes the onus of effort off of our prospect and puts it back on our shoulders. Now, recognizing that at some point somebody has to do work, so we can't necessarily eliminate everything, but we can eliminate as much as humanly possible, right? So, and that through efficiencies, right? There's many things that we can create once that will be of benefit to every customer who buys from us. And so that's, it's like I have steal our winners, right? And I am consistently thinking about how can we make it so that it's even easier to get the tactics and strategies that we share like into our customers' businesses at the end of the day. How do we make sure it's the best one that would give them the most benefit, right? I'm not saying that we've answered these questions yet, but this is what we're working on. How do we get a Steal Our Winner subscriber the tactic or strategy that would grow their business the most in the shortest amount of time? That's one. And then once we get that to them, how do we make it so that it's as easy as possible for it to happen and grow their business? And, right now, like, yeah, we create a strategy guide, we can create a process map, we can do things like that. But the goal is ultimately for someone to have to do less and less. And obviously there's a lot more that we can do. And therefore there's a lot more than almost anybody can do. But I think that, Emmy, this is a great start, but now it's about taking it even further, right? Like Russell didn't just tell you that, the secret is selling high ticket. It's like, I'm going to give you the page off of my website that you can put on your website that people use to apply for my high-end coaching program. They'll be able to apply for yours. You'll just make a slight tweak, right? I'm going to give you the ad to find all commission salespeople, and I'll give you the 7 locations where to advertise it. When people respond to your ad, I have a workflow of how to deal with those people and the questions that you'll want to ask on the first phone interview. Right. So now he's taking every element out of like he's already done all the work. And that's what I'm talking about, Emmy. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if it did or did not. Many lives have been transformed here. Many debts have been paid off through investment with the help of secured crypto binary trading company. It's never too late to get started. Never depend on your salary or wages as a single source of income. Invest with them today. I believe many of us have lost a lot, either to scammers or trying to trade on your own. That sucks. Here's your chance to get it right one more time. Dude, Ukasa, kind of bums me out that you would do that. But all right. Hey, Ryan, can we see if Ukasha can kind of not be on these live streams anymore? That would be great. I know we're a bunch of pushy softies, but I wonder if the narrative is tilting towards Tom Ballou, Jordan Peterson, David Goggins. Maybe strategic, well thought out effort is the way forward. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Paula. I know we're a bunch of pushy softies, but I wonder if the narrative is tilting towards effort. Um, no, I think people still buy what they buy, right? I think that there is an element philosophically that people um, are clear about, but at the end of the day, I think that people still buy what they buy. I mean, there are certain niches and segments like bodybuilders, right? Where some of them want to kind of be at the gym all day and grind and stuff like that. But yeah, Paula, I wouldn't necessarily think that that's necessarily what people are buying, even though that is very much what quite a few people are watching and digesting. Rich, will you share a link to download your mind map with us? I can't do that, Sandy, because I have no idea what's in there. And I will have some resources for you on Thursday that I'll put in the Facebook group. But I got to look at this mind map first. I pulled it up about 5 minutes before we started today, and so I'm not sure what is the what's on there. Hey, Ubdallah, nice to see you. And Duran, there it is. $100 million offers, people stupid saying ebook, right? That is it right there. That's the link. Buy it blindly, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's 99 cents. Making an easy profit from them is a great point. People want a fast solution, even if unrealistic ones. The cosmetic industry does that all the time. Yeah, I mean, totally agree. In fact, well, yeah, let's not even go down that road. The Kindle title is not currently available for purchase. Then, Abdallah, you might be in the wrong country. If you have a VPN, you might be able to buy it through a VPN. Because I think, yeah, it might not just be available. Maybe it's only available in certain countries. That's helpful. Awesome, Rich. Yes, it helped a lot. Thank you, Rich. I should definitely do more done for you. Further steps. People are lazy, and obviously they will gravitate more towards that. Right. People, and look, we're always looking for shortcuts. It doesn't necessarily mean that people are lazy. It's inefficient if there is a shortcut to not take one, right? It's inefficient for me to learn how to put up a WordPress site if we're only going to do it one time in my business and we can pay someone $5 to do it. Like I shouldn't need to learn that, right? And so same thing as it relates to your customers. Like if there are things that you can do that take some of the onus of effort off them, then why wouldn't you do it, right? Now, if everything can be engineered to be less effort and still not done for you necessarily, but less effort, great. And then also, can you engineer wins in there? Like how quickly can someone get a win? And we talked about this when we were talking about, onboarding subscribers, right? You want to engineer as early of a win as possible. Cool. Yeah, and just for everyone here, look, I'm doing this because I want to help you guys. And the last thing I want is someone putting some spam in here that is the exact opposite of what it is I'm trying to do. So, no, not Ubdallah, but Ukaska or Kasha has been banned. And look, at the end of the day, teaching people, like at least what I teach, I take it very seriously, and I take it very seriously for a very specific reason, right? I wasted 2 years of my life heading down the wrong direction online because I had bought into some BS beliefs, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen for other people. It was a grueling 2 years of my life, and it totally sucked. And I bought into stuff that robbed me of time because I studied it. And then the outcome of taking that time away from my family, taking that time and being isolated and learning, than applying it and having that just take me further and further away from my goals, not closer to my goals, which is why, like, I would kick people out of my coaching program if they were selling shit, because I would tell them, you'd be better off just stealing people's money, because at least you wouldn't take their time, their dreams, and their hopes. You'd only be taking their money. You're taking their money, but you're also taking their dreams, their hopes, and everything else. And so that's what that spam represents to me. That spam represents someone who's telling you that you can get rich in the revolving door of life on someone else's push, that all you have to do is stand there and someone else is going to push the door for you. And that if you do that and you go down that approach, it will just rob you of the opportunity of actually building something valuable and building a business that works, right? The desire to get rich off of the efforters without any contribution of your own is a bug in, like, the mental software of human beings. The desire to get rich without effort just doesn't, it only leads to problems, right? And so I have no patience for that. It's the same reason why we kick people out of Strategic Profits, out of the Facebook group, for the same action, because the last thing we want is for someone to be doing everything that we stand against. So there you go. I see we're having bad weather here between Florida and Ohio. The stream keeps cutting out. It's in and out. Hope I don't lose you. I hope you don't lose me either. We're pretty good here, so Southern Florida is good. Please give us an example of engineering a win as early as possible. All right, sure, Robert. So, the one that's easiest probably is back when, back when Twitter first kind of got on the scene, people were selling, like, get 1,000 Twitter followers, very easy to deliver on, right? Or get 10,000 Facebook followers, also relatively easy. Whatever is something that people would celebrate, that they wouldn't think that they would have accomplished, that they're excited about, like, moves them closer to their goal, right? Something along those lines, right? If you're teaching people how to make money online, their first opt-in, right? The first person that opts in, like some stranger opts in, that's a win. The first sale is a win, right? The first affiliate is a win. There are a lot of wins that you can engineer, and making them into a bigger deal, very useful, right? I'm grateful for all you offer, Rich. Would never think of doing that in here. I'm just happy to be here. Great, Don. Yeah, I think most people wouldn't. And it's just, I don't know. Such a shame. So powerful advice. Cool. Thank you. All right, let's go back to this. Well, keeping an ethical business is essential for establishing long-term goals in a reliable business. I stand for that. Yeah, here's something to think about. And if you're a Steal Our Winners member, you'll get more in this from a Steal Our Winners I just recently did with David Deutsch. But one thing that we were talking about is believability, and that David broke believability up into two things. One, and I'd never heard it broken up this way. Maybe it's common with other copywriters, I don't know, but he broke up believability into proof and trust. And he said that, and I agree with him, like, as I thought about this, that trust is more powerful, or I forget the word that, like, trumps proof, right? And if you think about this, I tend to agree, right? There are certain people I don't trust, and I don't care how much proof they have, I still don't trust them, right? There are certain people I totally trust, and they could show up with no proof, and I 100% trust them. So I think there's something to that. And I think that when it comes to trust, people's reputation precedes them. And I try to live my life in a way where I don't burn bridges. And I think you should do that with your customers too, right? That I don't want anyone to feel worse off because they came into contact with me. And so someone who's got a scam going, everyone is worse off that came into contact with them. And I think if you live your life that way and you live your business in a way where you try and make it so that everyone is better off because they came into contact with you, your prospects, your customers, your clients, your raving fans, I think that you're kind of headed down the right path, right? And so, yeah, um, it's it's playing the long game. It's recognizing that there's just a lot of people that come and go. There's a lot of people who have come and gone. All right, let's not make it all about that though. All right, looking at wanted to show you. Let's see. All right, let me show you a little bit more here, and then we can have more to riff on. All right, let's see. Let me go back to you guys for a second. Cool. I appreciate your directness. Thanks, man. Once you break the trust, you lose everything. Yeah, and that's a scary proposition, isn't it? Great insight. Trust trumps proof. That's David Deutsch, not mine, but I agree. It's about being preeminent. I agree. Rich, which episode of Steal Our Winners is the one you mentioned? It hasn't come out yet. It's next month. It'll come out at the end of the month. All right. Now let's go back to this. All right. And then I wanted to show you this cool thing. I'm a fan of this guy. So let's see. Okay. Use the following template to create your value proposition. This requires you to differentiate your offer from the competitor. So here is the template, right? For whoever, right? I think I have another version of this that I like even better. For whoever who is looking for or challenged with, right? Describe conflict, goal, unattained, or problem unresolved, right? So this is your prospect, right? Unlike blank, and what are the alternatives? We offer this type of solution, maybe a word or two about how it works, fast working, that helps generate, create, saves, improves, or any other benefit. Now, recognize that that's your value proposition. That's not your offer. It's just part of the offer. Let's see what I have here. I think I already have this. Yeah, I don't know if those are good ones. All right, so let's go to, where do I want to show you? Oh, I wanted to show you this. How many people are familiar with Marty Neumer? I think that's his name. Have you guys ever heard of him? Marty, he's written a bunch of books and they're really good. Let's see if I can find them in here. No, you haven't. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So, okay, let's go to my Evernote. I got to stop that, share that screen, and go back here. Go to this. All right. So, Marty, the guy's name is Marty Neumer. He's written some really great books, by the way. They're dense. They're not easy reads per se. But what makes your brand the only in its category? Onlyness is by far the most powerful test of a strategic position, right? Brands need strong positioning because customers have choices. If you don't stand out, you lose. I wrote a little book about this called Zag. It says that to win the positioning game, you have to answer one simple question: what makes you the only? You'll soon see that answering this question is far from easy. One way to approach it is to think about why your brand matters. At Liquid, we take our clients through a series of steps to discover what makes them the only, which is nothing less than a journey to the core of their business. Remember, you can't advertise your way to onlyness. You have to start with it. Our blank is the only blank that blanks. For your next strategy meeting, download the slide above to get the conversation going about what makes you the only. You'll be surprised how quickly you start talking about things that really matter. This simple test isn't the only way to find a powerful position in the market, but no matter how you get there, if you can't say why your brand is both different and compelling with a few words, don't fix your positioning statement, fix your company. So why am I sharing this? Once again, this is this is just an element of your offer, like your positioning, like your trustability, all of these things come into play. But I love this. I love this way of looking at it, right? Like at the end of the day, you could say our offer, right, is the only whatever it is that whatever's, right? And your offer should have some unique part. That's hence the USP, unique selling proposition, right? All right, let me go back to you guys. Let's see where we're at and kind of take things, let you guide me where you want to go. All right. All right. Intuition, especially collective, subconscious, all play a part in how people smell you. It's hard to hide for too long bad intentions. I believe that. Reputation is everything in business. People are not fools. It's their hard-earned money. No. The only is the guru. Not sure what you mean. I solved that. Took me a long time, though. I do hope that's true. What do you hope is true? Not sure what you're talking about, but one thing though, as we're talking about reputation, right, and values, kind of, something that I'll just pass along to you was something that Joe Schriefer passed along to me that I think he learned from Addison. And that is that you learn a lot more about someone at the end of a relationship than you do at the beginning of a relationship. And so for me, like, I try to end every relationship in a positive way. And I am very cognizant of when someone changes a relationship in a negative way, because that to me represents that when there's no reason to kind of live up to a standard, you don't. And so yeah, to me that's gospel, right? You learn a lot more about someone at the end of a relationship than you ever do at the beginning. All right. So ask me questions, guys. I mean, I really want to help you, and I could just pontificate about offers, but it's not really what I want to do. I really do want to help you. And the more that you give me clarity about what it is, right? But we can go into the offer. Yeah. Now let's take a look at this for a second. Well, let's see. Okay, we got some answers here. Working the steps to be the only so soon. Very cool, Emmy. Would you always consider offering a money-back guarantee on high-ticket offers? Not necessarily. Paul, there have certainly been offers that I've done where there are no guarantees. Like, this is too valuable. And so we can't offer you, if you're the type of person who needs a guarantee, then this one is not for you, right? You can certainly use a non-guarantee as a way of positioning. You can also do a conditional guarantee, and a conditional guarantee would be one where, like, you get your money back as long as you've taken all the steps, attended all the calls, like whatever it is, and it's not overbearing, or then it doesn't even work for you. But there should always be some element of risk reversal if you can do so. And the more that you can do, more often than not, the better off you are. Even if your refunds go up, the amount that you make ends up being more too. So it's generally a good idea to have risk reversal. However, for very expensive products and programs, you can give people 30 days to cancel. You can give them other things but you might not necessarily always offer a money back guarantee. I didn't do that for our mastermind, for example. Just not really something that can be guaranteed. Regarding the unique part of the offer, does it really have to be in the what, or could it also be in the way you deliver, produce, or the product or service? Well, Emil, at the end of the day, everything is a game of perceptions. So what's important is that it's perceived as unique, right? What was it, Caples or Hopkins? I forget which one that did the beer, where every single beer company went through this entire process to like steam clean their bottles, and yet Schlitz, whether it was Caples or Hopkins, I forget, but did a whole campaign around how Schlitz did this, and immediately they were seen as different and better than everyone else. And so it doesn't even have to be unique. It has to be something that's claimed, right? But it has to be perceived as different and unique. That's the most important. And unique and different in a way that is beneficial for your prospects, obviously, not just different for different purposes, right? So true. Besides burning bridges, it's not always a good thing in life. You never know when you might need to walk that road again. Yeah, I totally agree. And, the whole, I've done, as long as I had my coaching program, I did weekly Q&A calls where all my customers would call in. And, because I was one of the first coaches online, I think that model is something that a lot of people have also done. And the reason I did that model was that I wanted a forum where I could be held to task by any customer, and all my other customers would hear my answer. So it was a very place where, like, if I had challenges, they'd probably they would come up there. And fortunately, they didn't. Okay. When making business to business offers, how do you make it, I guess, heart centered and appeal to the emotions in the offer? For example, I'm working on an offer to teach people Excel to effectively manage inventory. It's highly technical and targeted at businesses. It seems that the offer that offers that promise personal transformation, like health and fitness, can have more of an emotional appeal. Yeah, there's no doubt that those can have more, right? But at the end of the day, right, what happens you know, if you're not good at Excel? Well, you're probably going to be frustrated. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to hit walls. You might get fired. You might have, anxiety. There's a lot of things, right? Versus when you're a master at the task, things are easy. You have no fear. You're so good. In fact, you could be doing something else and still get it done. So you have to compare and contrast those two to kind of set up, right, the emotional element of it. But there definitely is a difference, right? And whoops. Yeah. So there definitely is a difference, but you can certainly inject an emotional resonance into the offer or the copy by talking about, the challenges when you don't know versus the breeze that it is. And that contrast, the more things you can contrast that way, the better off you'll be, Ubdallah. UPS did it with delivery. What did they do with delivery? Not sure. It's all about perception. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's cool. All right. How do you demonstrate your market can trust you when you have no social proof or testimonials? Well, so the first thing, there's a lot, Renan, you can do. You can share research. You can share other people's stories that have used other services or products, but same type that you do, right? You can share research that shows that people need help. You can share. There's a lot. I did a blog series on believability and proof a really long time ago, but I think I put that in the Facebook group. And if I didn't, let me know, and maybe I will, or I will. Not today, but let me know today, and I can make it happen. Just won't happen today. Um, but I did like 20 different ways that you could build believability and proof. Um, and those, so I have a bunch of ways there. And then what I would say is that if you can describe their situation really well, it doesn't matter, which is why, like, I always stress the point, right? That which is most personal is most general. And I know that most of you, as you hear that, you probably like have heard it enough from me if you've been on these live streams that like you're like, I get it. But there are still things that you are personally struggling with that you think you're alone with, that you're not. In fact, everyone in your market is struggling with it too. And if you were the one who kind of owned it, seized it, like talked about it, and said that I know a lot of people are struggling with this, guaranteed people would resonate with it. And then they would trust you more because now you're speaking out to what they are experiencing, right? Thanks, Rich. You're welcome. Claude Hopkins did the Schlitz ad. Thank you for the heads up there. Red lip marketing example with your weight. What if we told you you don't need to lose or gain weight? You just need a balanced body composition. What do you think of an offer like that? Or is it a value proposition? Well, I don't know what a balanced body composition is, right? So to me, that doesn't really mean anything. And then we have to kind of get at, right? Like, what is it about? Like, why is it when I'm 250, I freak out? Why is it when I'm 210, I freak out? Right? Like, what is it? What do I begin to think about myself? And then from there, right, what is the polar of that? What's the opposite of that? So, for me, uh, it's about being in control of my life, being versus being out of control and different things. I make it mean a lot, right? But I would, if I'm trying to give myself like the ideal offer, then knowing those things, what's the psychology behind the weight? What does it mean? Right? For some people, it means like going out and meeting members of the opposite sex that are attractive or beautiful or whatever, right? But like for other people, it's like a prejudice, right? And would, I'm embarrassed to say that, yeah, for me, it's a little bit of a prejudice. Like, and I carry that prejudice at looking at myself and others. And so I believe that if I'm 250 or 260, right, which I've been, that it says things about myself that then make everything I do less effective. It makes it, you know, it just, it, it's broadcasting something that is in conflict with what I want to broadcast. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to be delicate. Build your credibility, build your biz is on the Strategic Profits Facebook group. Okay, so there you go. So I wrote these long blog posts about a bunch of different ways. You can check that out. It's in the Facebook group Strategic Profits, and you can join that absolutely free because it is free. Can you talk about digital marketing, how to go through it? How should I start to learn about at any point to go step by step? Well, what I would say, Ozma, is that the most important thing is the offer. That if you have a compelling offer, um, everything else is so downhill. And if you don't, the copy is like, you don't look, if you wanted to sell right now a Ferrari, a brand new Ferrari for $1,000, you don't need good copy. You don't need a good list. You just need to let the world know that you have a brand new Ferrari you're selling for $1,000. So, look, I get that there's not a preconceived value like for maybe what you offer versus a Ferrari. But recognize that when you can set up your offer so it feels like that, right? Like how do you do all that for that price? How are you able to give me all that? How are you able to do all that for that price? When you're able to get to that, right? Everything else will be easier. So I would say that even if you're just starting out, right? You can really start to think about who you're the best option for out there. And then based on that, what offer could you make that is truly unique? And I know that that is not necessarily an easy question to answer, but it's also not, but if you nail that, right, you have the elements of what you need to have a successful online business. And a successful online business is something that is very valuable. So it shouldn't necessarily be an easy question to answer, because if it was, everyone would have an online business that was making lots of money. So, that's kind of the short of it, I would say. Let's see here. All right, let's see where we are. Renan, we all started with social proof: teach, provide beneficial information, and become variable to them. Build your reputation and do your position the right way. Not so easy, but very doable. Provide great information, really, is at the end of the day one of the easiest ways. Being out there, creating stuff, being prolific, those things work. You got this, you got this, you got this. Thank you. Yep, agree with you. Thanks. I'm interested in building better automations in my business. Do you have any recommendations on people to check out? Chris, like what kind of automations are you talking about specifically? And let's see. I will, let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm going to break out the steps and we'll do it together. On Thursday's live stream, we'll break out the steps to actually building out better offers. And I will have gone through my notes a lot more to do that. Now, to do that, how should you guys kind of come to the live stream to get the most out of it? Well, you should be clear about like what it is ultimately that, your prospects struggle the most with, what it is they want, right? And then you should think about all the obstacles that are in the way of them getting that. Like, what do they perceive? Not necessarily what you perceive, what they perceive as all the obstacles, challenges, difficulties, etc., that stand in their way, because you have to make those all disappear. And I will share one last thing here right now, and then we'll wrap this and we'll call it a day, right? So, and then we'll be here on Thursday night from 6 to 8 Eastern, where we will ratchet up offers, right? At the end of the day, you're making a promise, right? And that promise, the more believable it is, the more possible, the more that your prospects see that outcome inside themselves, the better, right? You cannot spend too much time on your offer at the end of the day. Let's see here. Hold on. Excellent book tip. Like, wow, great round of tips and ideas today. Rich, have done hundreds of offers. It's always good to learn more and develop trends that will play out tomorrow. Totally agree. So yeah, what did I want to share with you? This is a place where, with offers, this is a place where you can make the biggest difference in your business, right? Copy is just a way to tell people about the offer, right? To set people up for the offer. If the offer is really solid, it lowers the barrier, right, on the copy. Just like I said, at the very beginning of this live stream, I said that it felt like the Russell's webinar was just an excuse to get to the offer, but you can't invite people to an offer. So you put 3 secrets together, right? The 3 secrets for high ticket selling secrets are: you make more money selling high ticket versus low ticket. You don't need lots of traffic to sell high ticket, and you don't have to get on the phone personally to sell high ticket. Those are the 3 big secrets. There's very little persuasion going on there. But the offer was so strong that it really didn't matter what came in front. If you're not great at online marketing, if you're not great at writing copy, if you're not a great email marketer, well, you can at least know your prospect cold, and you can spend time creating the best offer that you can. And if you create a great offer, you will find everything else that you don't know a lot easier, because everything else will just work. And I know that might sound crazy and hard to believe, but it's true. A great offer transcends everything. you have very little work to do when people hear the offer, they want it with no setup, with no pre-marketing, with no pre-selling or anything, right? And you can do that. You can do that by spending time working on your offer, honing it, making it better, testing it, getting feedback, testing more, right? And really getting at the heart of what it is that your business offers that prospects desperately want. And so that is one of the highest leverage activities that you can do in your business. And it's one of the reasons why I want to spend some time on this. It's why I'm going to walk you through it on Thursday. And I don't think that we'll even be done on Thursday. I'm going to have to think of different titles so we can have different thumbnails up. But this is critical. And the better that you get at this skill, everything else is easier. Everything. So let's kind of just wrap this up. Chris, so it would depend. Like there are automations, like if you have a membership site, there are automations for I need to know more and ask me, I guess, in another live stream because it's not like I have those at my disposal. Okay, yep. If the offer is good, the copy is easy to do. Yeah, all you have to do is check this out, right? A great offer transcends everything. Exactly. Daryl. Makes perfect good sense, Rich. I agree with you. I lost 80 pounds. Not only do I feel great, I looked great. A couple of years later, I got injured and put the weight back on in 3 years. Yeah, I get it. Thank you, Rich, for great content as always. You're welcome, Debbie. That it took to recuperate. I think about it almost every day, desiring to get back to that ideal weight. I have a picture of myself. I've been looking for it. I want to find it. It's me at like 230 or 225. It was a before picture that I took. And then I got to 250. And then now my before picture was my goal. So I had taken a before picture and then I continued to gain weight. And then that became my goal. Thank you so much. As usual, Rich, really insightful today. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Rich. I still do not choose the kind of digital product yet, so do not have the offer. And as you said, the offer should be great. So I need to know more. Asma, just think about who you want to serve. That's where you start. Who's the ideal customer for you? And if you don't know that, then start with who do you think? Like what skills, what are you passionate about? What conversation would you have a hard time not being rude and injecting into because like it was a topic that you have a lot to say on? And you have to start there. And then who really values that skill, that knowledge, that experience, and what problems does that allow you to solve? And you kind of can build out from there. There are powerful automation tools out there. There are several all-in-one automation platforms. Yep. I can't wait till Thursday. Thank you so much, Rich. My pleasure. Hey, Priya. Thank you as always. Time well spent. Thank you, Priya. I echo Debbie. Thank you, Rich. You excelled yourself today. Thanks. What nice comments. Thank you. You're super helpful. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Carlos. Wow, this is so nice. Thank you very much for today. Very helpful and relevant to what I'm working on these days. Cool. Let's catch up next week, Kayvon. Daryl, thanks, Rich. Cool. I always feel intellectually richer, fatter. I always feel intellectually richer, fatter listening to you. That's funny. Thanks, Rich. Really looking forward to Thursday. Me too, although I'm going to have to do a lot of work now. Thanks. You're welcome, Evie. Yes, was very insightful indeed. Thanks for doing this. Final off-topic question. A while ago, you mentioned an app that reads out notes, PDFs, etc. What is it again? So the app that everyone else is talking about is Speechify, and it does allow you to go a little bit faster. It does have good voices. I'm so used to Voice Dream, DREAM, that I have both, but I use Voice Dream more. But both of those work, and they both work well. Rich, you look more refreshed. I'm sure it's a damn good thing. All the best. Yeah, I see that what I was years ago in you. All the best. I see what I saw years ago in you. Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Manuel. Awesome as always. Thanks. Rich, do you recommend a book for authors? Yes, I've been recommending it, Hugo. Alex Hormozy's $100 Million Offers. It's in the chat thread, but 99 cents on Amazon, probably the best book I've read on offers. Health Max Ed, thanks. Ed, you rock. Thanks, Don. See you Thursday. And cool. Thanks again. Good. Great, guys. So that's it. That wraps this. But of course, please subscribe to wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, please join our Facebook group. If you're on YouTube, please hit thumbs up, subscribe, comment. And if you're on LinkedIn, by all means, do the same. And if you're on Periscope, why are you still on Periscope? There are so many better platforms. So till Thursday, to higher profits and beyond, Rich Schefren, over and out.